bullshit. No moderation on this particular feed. Doesn't make me feel safe. Moderators make me feel less safe. Despite what the horrible people at Google want you to believe. But I digress. Welcome, Internet. Happy belated Christmas. I hope you guys got everything you wanted. I think it's the first day of Kwanzaa. You guys got candles or something? Is that Hanukkah? Well, anyways, light whatever candle or do whatever you feel comfortable doing, makes you feel complete. I'm just grateful to still be able to be here. I got like a new employee evaluation on the what's going to be at NatesVlogs.net. It kind of deals with the subject matter we're going to be diving into today. Yesterday I was at had a party over at the Hizzle, and my girl's friend's dude was talking about travel, saying I need to go to Canada. He was making it known that Canada, if you got a little melanin, you get a lot of love out there. He's like, man, you just black. All the women just want to fuck you, and and he was describing it like it's a good thing, and he did it right in front of my girl too, which was kind of strange. But he was even if my girl wasn't there, I've been fetishized. Like he was describing, and it wasn't like ideal for someone like myself. Because I have a history of being liked for the wrong reasons. Like before I even had social media or any of that shit, I had like a little chunk of change I got after selling a house that my grandma left my mom, and me and my sister ended up getting it. Well, it's a whole long story because we had to fight because I had family members who were trying to prevent us from getting anything. They wanted it all to themselves, and they ended up, I'll probably make a video about what ended up happening with that, because they ended up getting the house, but we got a small portion of what it was worth. Cousin had his wife sell it to herself using, like, she used her married name to sell it to herself, using her maiden name, so it looked like it was two different people, but they were just ripping us off. But I digress from that. But anyways, I had like a little chunk of change after that, and then I had like women who let me just say girls, because they were dependent on me, pressuring me to get them stuff and guilting me, and they only liked me because I had like a little extra money. So it's just like, it felt nice to be liked when I was young, but then I was just not smart enough to realize that they wanted me for, the perceived wealth that they thought I can give them. And, and then like, that money, I was gonna say I tried to cover the fact I had some stuff that made people think I had more money than I did. But as I got older, I got away from all that stuff. I mean, I don't do any brands or any expensive shit. Any I call it rich people clothing. The stuff that people think that rich people wear. Because it's a E40 quote. He got a song. He was like, "Living above my means, nigga. That's a bold-faced lie. If the popo's raid, I got an alibi." But anyways, I just ended up switching it up. But then by the time I had social media popping off, that money had been long gone, and most of that money I didn't even spend on myself. I ended up helping people I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have helped. I ended up helping my dad with some of it. Trying to help him fix up a house so he wouldn't take a loan out. But he ended up taking the loan out, and he lost the house anyway because it was one of those predatory mortgages. This was like around 2007, 2008, and well, so it's just like I'm saying all that to say, like, I've been fetishized for all the worst of the worst reasons, and yeah, and then I got older, and I just realized I enjoy being liked for the proper reasons, and this also kind of ties into upcoming employee evaluation. It's going to be at NatesVlogs.net because someone sent me a video a while ago of a cat who was he's like the son of a billionaire. Well, the thing they sent me, because in the video it says 300 million, or his dad sold a company for 300 million. He may have gotten $1 billion from there, but he had all this money, and he was bragging on the women that he got from having access to hundreds of millions, possibly billions of dollars. And well, it just kind of boggles my mind how someone could be that lost in the sauce where they think like people coming at you because you got a private jet, you got all these little doodads and trinkets that make desperate people want to be with you. It's like no way of filtering out like who really wants you, because at that point I don't think it matters for a lot of people. Uh, I've had people who were fetishizing me lie to me, do all kinds of stuff, and when I was younger I used to go for the old okey doke, but then yeah, I ended up wising up to it. But I start to realize I'm in a rare breed, a rare class of people, because I don't want to say I've been a sex symbol for over a decade, but um, I mean, I don't know how to finish that sentence without sounding arrogant. But I have like just the bullshit that I've had to deal with. It provided perspective, and well, yeah, and the upcoming employee evaluation ended up, I guess, ripping the dude a new one, because he was a young billionaire, a young extremely rich kid, and but it's a ideology that's pretty pervasive in certain circles, and some people like they look up to people in that position, and maybe it's because they've never been in it, and uh, uh, it can be a daunting task finding quality people if you have that much money. Um, but some people that it just really doesn't matter because I got family who's connected to the family wealth. Like one of my cousins who ended up being benefiting heavily from my grandmother's properties, right? He's like in all these social circles. He pays to be around certain rappers just so he can like he fucks their groupies. So like it's like these chicks who be like uh, um coming around because they want to get to know like a certain rapper that he knows, and like they'll fuck him to get to the rapper, and he thinks that's like that says something about his game or his quality of being. It's just like, no, you're just these women are of ill repute, and you are after, or they're after the person who and it's just like it's just weird how strange people can think that's like some cool shit. Because I had this whole debate with him. I'm trying to convey like, dude, you don't see it like you don't see it as strange. He ended up getting one of these chicks pregnant. I'm like, you don't see it as just like weird that like you're impregnating like groupies of other people, and then like you're surprised when you and the baby mama ain't getting along. It's just But you know, everybody's got a hobby, so I'm not trying to knock a pork chop off anybody's plate. If you don't knock the celery off of mine. Hello, old friend. What it do, hero? Welcome. Nah, you ain't arrogant. You are just speaking truth. Well, well, thank you. Well, I mean, you know, it's I've been afforded like a unique experience, and that's like one thing I'm very grateful for, because I have insights a lot of people don't, and you know, one of the things I enjoy greatly about connecting on like you know these platforms, even though they censor like a motherfucker, is that I got people who've been around like over a decade and they got to see some of the crazy shit. So it's just like, I mean, it's pretty hard to see it since I've been censored so many times nowadays. But you know, people who've been through the struggle, uh, they understand deeply what I'm talking about. Because in a lot of ways, I mean, my viewers remember my videos and you know my experiences more than I do because they rewatched it umpteen gajillion times, and you know, it's like something I haven't seen in 10 years. What cousin of yours should be focused on helping others instead of the booty? Are you asking me or are you telling me what anyways, yeah, it's like Bay Area family. I mean, I got like, you know, other family who, you know, it's like fighting over different properties and I got some of them in the chat right now with none but love. I mean, not the foul family, but they understand what the foul family's doing. Which cousin are you talking about? Well, yeah, that's what I was getting at. This was like my um on my mom's side, but you know, there's been a lot of contention on both sides. You know, like you know the farm in Mississippi and shit like that. Um, I only like later in life heard about all of the contests over that, and yeah, but I had my first experience with like just cutthroat family members when my mom's mom died, and yeah, and it's just you know when I got the little change from that, it was a lot of friendly faces smiling in my face, all the while they want to take my place, you know, the backstabber type. Um, and yeah, so it's just like a lot of people benefited from that kind of stuff. And then the real, because I had one particular aunt uh, who was like the overseer of the estate, you know, the executor of the estate, and she ended up like you know like spoiling the shit out of her kids, and like that fucked them up because one of her sons ended up getting arrested or getting doing some atrocious shit, like atrocious, like he's a predator type thing. And then she ended up protecting him, moving him to. We had like my grandma had some property in Arkansas. Made sure he didn't get arrested, even though he should have, because what he did was really fucked up. And then he was the one who's his wife, him and his wife ripped us off, and they ended up like doing some scandalous shit to get our house for way below market value. After like trying to make sure we didn't get the house, period, my dad had to get a lawyer, all kinds of shit, just so we got like a little taste, a little cut. So yeah, it was some shade. I know you ain't talking about me. No, I ain't talking about you. You're one of the cool ones. You're like when I was hyping up my girl to see the family. I was like, nah, the cousin Demetra, she's one you got to see. She's a real one. Uh, um, Realer than the rest. I mean, that's one of the things I respect because you always speak your mind, and this is like Bay Area side of the family. So, um, yeah, that's like you know, it different. It's different. Um, it was because my grandma, my on my mom's side just had all these properties, and it was like it just divided the family. Last time I went out there, you know, like they stopped having family functions. Nobody was connecting. It was all this anger and angst towards one another. And the people who benefited, like, you know, they really thought their shit didn't stink. And it's like they thought they were better than a lot of people, even though the money they got was, you know, they didn't actually earn it, you know. So it was just uh you know, that was one of the things that was like vexating me. And it's like it was like a mindset that I'm glad I avoided, uh because yeah, I saw it as poisonous. We missed you yesterday. I missed you. And I saw like the little video, and it was good to see. And well, we'll be out in California again in February, but it'll be closer to San Jose. I don't like cutthroat family members. Yeah, you don't. A lot of times you don't realize you got the cutthroat family members until, you know, a patriarch or a matriarch dies, and then they just start scrambling for whatever the fuck they had. You know, and then like you realize that some people put money over family, money over everything. You know, have an inverted value system, and they'll do whatever, fuck over whoever. And it's just like, you know, we're talking about like large amounts of money, you know, where it's like you could share and you'll still be well off, right? So um yeah, in my case it was like they were fighting over more millions. You know, like after you get the first million, you would think they'd be good. Nope. That's $50,000 a year off of the interest alone, right? But now they needed all the houses, all the money, all the property. They didn't even want us to get our cut from the life insurance. So it's like, you know, it was yeah, it was one of those things. Like, you know, I saw one of my aunts who was like one of the bigger backstabbers, and she's, you know, she gave me like $100, like that's doing something, you know, like I think she just feels guilty because she just, you know, like she saw, like, you know, my grandma when she was around, we used to have like family functions, all that stuff. Once she died and everybody saw the shady aunt, nobody wanted to hang out with each other. It's just like the baseball games and all that shit. It dried up, you know. You know, nobody, they don't even get together for the holidays. I was trying to plan something uh, a few Christmases ago to come out, and I'm like trying to figure out what's a good time to come out. Like, when's the next big family get together? And the big family get togethers, they just stopped. Uh, you know, last time I was out there, we had like a little family function in the park. I mean, most of the family, it was like uh, my aunt and her kids, you know, like they'd have like little stuff going on, and that'd be separate from everybody else's because everybody else is bitter from what she did, you know. So it's just like, you know, I was talking to a cousin who um, was in a similar predicament as me. He ended up being a little bit better off. Like him and his brother got multiple houses because um, their mom died when I was real young before my grandma had a stroke. So like she altered her will accordingly, right? So the way you know, my mom died was after my grandma had a stroke. She already had like, you know, my aunts overlooking her. The first aunt, she was like the looking over her estate. She was stealing from my grandma to, like, you know, fun little things on her own. Then she got nixed. My other aunt became the executor of the estate, and yeah, it's just yeah, she started having her own objectives, her own stuff that she was funding, and it was just like my grandma didn't know any better. You know, she had a stroke. She was, you know, she was a different person by then. So you know, our um, the will wasn't altered to include me and my sister since my mom had died, and we didn't have like a will or anything like that. So we were just like we were fucked. But we got this one lawyer who was able to get the property after years and years of like funding this motherfucker. By the time we got our little chunk of change, he got a big part of it. But I'm grateful that my dad hired him, because we wouldn't have got shit without that intervention. But wish I had properties in due time. All it takes is you to take away corporations' right to own property. We got a homelessness epidemic, and corporations is buying up properties at sky high values, artificially raised in the market, because they want to own everything. But once you take away their ability to own shit in corporations, profiteering off of human suffering, then you'll get a lower priced house that you can easily get into. Most cities got more empty homes than homeless people. So you just got to also, like certain cities have benefited from having vacancy taxes. So if a house is vacant for a certain amount of time, they have to pay these ridiculous taxes, which disincentivizes them from keeping them vacant. They either lower rent prices, sell it, do something. But yeah, right now it's just a shame, because you got like people dying in the cold while empty houses turn on the heat to prevent the pipes from bursting. And that's kind of, we're in a country with sick values. And that's why I was just interesting to hear people just, glorify the idea of being fetishized as a black person. Like if you go to, like the dude who was telling me, if you go to Canada, these white people will love you. I'm like, that just makes me concerned. Like when someone says all I fuck is black people, the thing that pops in my mind is, okay, what are you trying to give us? You have like something that you only want to give to black people, because that's what it sounds like. Well, yeah, because maybe I'm not trusting, but yeah, that's just like some concerning stuff. Like, you don't know me personally, so if you say you hate all black people, or all you do is fuck black people, it's just like, it's a concerning thing, because you're not seeing us as people, like, who are different on a case by case basis. Like if someone likes my brother, like romantically, right? And then they think they're gonna like me. We're totally different people. Like if you like him, I'm just like, yeah, you can't like me, because we ain't got shit in common outside of the last name. But some people, they just don't see it the way I do. Family should be everything. You would hope that, but yeah, for some people, uh, yeah, material things outweigh everything, and that's and like I said, it was the upcoming employee evaluation. It's the someone who um doesn't see any qualms about just benefiting from his family name, family fortune, getting a bunch of whores who just, fuck wealthy people who have more money than they can spend, if you do got like a jet and all that expensive shit, I'm not knocking you. But if you use it to win people over, which is what this clown did, it's just like, I view you as pathetic. Like, you can't win people on your personality. You want them to like you because of your dad's shit. You want people to only fuck with you because of all the shit you have, and that you didn't even earn. It's not like you can hang your hat on the fact that you got it yourself. It's just like someone else gave it to me, and this is gonna be my pussy magnet, And yeah, but like I said, it's just different folks, different strokes for different folks. And I wouldn't stroke someone who only wanted my shit. Try to find a genuine article, but to each his own. Merry Christmas, pretty mouth Nate. All right, well, thank you. I hope you think the mouth is pretty for the wisdom that comes from it. I agree with your house statement. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, because when I left my hometown, yes, I had opportunities in Southern California, looking back, like seeing how everything rolled out, I could have capitalized on a lot of the opportunities without leaving. However, it was studios and stuff in LA that were trying to work with me, which would require me to be out there, you know. But one of the things that was just like really pushing me, because even before those opportunities arose, I was like aching to get the fuck out of my hometown, because it was sad. It was like getting to the point where I was seeing new homeless people out all the time. It's not like the same homeless people. Like when I was a kid, yeah, you can, it's like a few crackheads you see at the Jack in the Box, but they were like the regulars. Then I started seeing like more diverse ones. I started to see people I went to school with out struggling. I had a family member who I loved a great deal. So he was. I was getting comments about how he was out there collecting cans, and then we found out what was going on. He was losing his house, and yeah. So it was just like I was just seeing the suffering. I didn't want to be out there watching it, not having any ability to do anything. So I ended up just going out, leaving to the LA area, more affluent area. But then over time, the area that I was in, which had money when I first got there. I mean, it didn't have like, like, I mean, I guess I saw like one or two homeless people, but it was like it became the same issue where I just started seeing more and more people going homeless and shit, and and then just like the prices started just getting sky high. Used to be able to find a place for 500 to 700, get a place of your own, or I had first I had like a shared room with like for like 500. I ended up getting a place of my own. I negotiated it down to like 700 or something like that, and then it just like like because I know LA proper was expensive as a motherfucker, but just like every area around it started getting pricey as a motherfucker. Then just California in general. I went back to the Bay. I thought it would be cheaper than LA. That shit got that shit. It all went through the roof. Then I ended up leaving the state, thinking shit, you could save money. I mean, there were areas that were cheaper, like when I was in Vegas. I had like a 2 bedroom that were 2 bedrooms to myself, that I paid like 700 for. But then like the top of the house was the person whose name it was in, because Vegas you got to get like 6 months, sign 6 months lease for just about every place, and I didn't want to do that, and I was just trying it out. But it was like if I wanted to get like a place for well under 1,000, a place of my own, it was super easy to do. Uh, at the time I went out there. Now I guess the price went up again, but that's just like that goes back to the corporations end up buying up all these properties, artificially driving up the prices. So most people can't afford not only to buy, but renting is ridiculous now too. I would use it to help people, to help those who are hurting. Some people in California need the help. If I do better economically speaking, should do the right thing, even if it hurts, must do what we can help. Yeah. Well, that's where I'm at. I'm befuddled by anybody who feels like they need over $10 million, because that's $500,000 alone off of the interest. So you can live off the interest of $10 million comfortably, right? So that's why I'm always like, what can you get with 2 billion that you can't get with one? What do you need? What do you need $100 billion for? You can say, okay, you're gonna buy a social media website that you had no part in making, like Elon Musk, right? But then, like, that social media platform was heavily funded by our government. It shouldn't have been sold. It should have been. It shouldn't require outside forces to make it you know public square for anybody can talk to talk. I mean, if since it's funded by our money, we should have our First Amendment rights on all websites, including YouTube, including Facebook, Instagram. But it just so happens all of these gigantic corporations that take billions of dollars in taxpayer subsidies, they do the bidding of um, the agencies that pay them. So CIA, FBI, they silence you on these corporations. Then the corporations say that they're a private company, and they can take off whoever they want. Well, then stop taking our money. Why the fuck are you taking? And even if they were taking the money directly from corporations, how are these corporations getting billions of dollars? You know, we're talking about an economy where people can't pay basic shit. You know, these corporations, they're taking billions of dollars in subsidies too. So even if they get funded directly from the corporation, we still should have our First Amendment rights respected because they only got those billions from us. They stole it from us. Then they stole our rights and freedoms, and then they just claim to be private entities that they can shut you down. And then they push the biggest of lies, so like people don't know which way is up from down. Some people in California do need help. If I do better economically speaking, yeah. To do the right thing, even if it hurts, we must do all we can do to help. Yes. I just gave your 3,500 followers on IG. Been here since the Fat Nate. Well, I appreciate that. Fat Nate respects it. You know, Fat Nate always peeks his head out around the holiday season, and he loves what you're doing. Love to see how much you've expanded your consciousness. Oh, well, thank you. I mean, shit, what is life without learning? Well, yeah, and plus it's just I get a lot of experience having a platform like this, you know, just getting a wide variety of people enlightening me to certain things. You know, I put down some kind of a statement on something in a video, and then I get like, you know, people like, oh, actually I'm from here, and they'll like enlighten me to something. Like got enlightened to a lot of shit. People hit me on. I remember I posted a video of, you know, right after I lost my first channel, about why my channel got shut down, because it got like 3 random videos, and I accused YouTube of, you know, trying to become Disney, which I mean, in a way they are, you know, like because all of the major television networks that people went to the internet to get away from the TV for, they ended up just, you know, taking over. However, you know, like as soon as I posted the video, I had people posting like, yeah, no, I understand you, you know, like these random videos got you taken down, or that's what got you strikes. But then they were pointing out the Atlantic Council didn't take kindly to my content when I was posting my experience with the police. And you know, it was like one of the videos where I was getting stopped by the cops. They were like, "Don't post that on YouTube. I wouldn't do that if I were you." And he said that because he knew that they had sway, you know, because the Atlantic Council, they work with foreign governments, yes, like Israel, Saudi Arabia, you know, some of the most atrocious governments, the most repressive. But then they also, that government includes the United States government. So, you know, they had like a police board. Like if you said anything negative about police, or you showcased police harassment like I did, you would get shut down. So that put me on that rabbit hole of like looking into the power centers that were silencing people for well over a decade. Because before my first channel got taken down, Atlantic Council, they were shutting down Palestinian activists who were showcasing the war crimes and atrocious actions of the Israeli government. So, yeah. But, you know, got to wear it as a badge of honor. You know, I'm saying something so poignant that the liars at the CIA don't want it to be heard. So, you know, that's how you know it's true. You never know something is true until it's officially denied by the sociopaths and psychopaths who run our government. I do agree with you on some things. I'm still working on getting the money. Well, cheers to you. I was just talking to uh, my girl's sister. She switched up. She was working at a corporate company, Safeway. That's where a good amount of her family works. But she moved to something PCC, which I've been to before. I haven't been to it in some time now, because it's like a cheaper corporate store right by it. Trader Joe's. I mean, they had like several fruits and vegetables that were proven to have all kinds of lead and dangerous chemicals in them. And the PCC she works at, they're a little bit more expensive, but you know it's a much safer eating experience. It's like locally sourced, and it's like worker owned, so it's like an actual democratic process. You know, they don't like make all the money and then give it to the CEOs and the boardroom. They decide where it goes. It's I think all businesses should be run like that. You know, I mean, and to make things right, like to see your community getting better. I mean, that's what needs to happen. These corporate structures where they rob the people working for them, you know, and then they give it to the biggest psychopaths who are just so prolific they were able to become CEOs of the most uh, uh, detrimental companies, destroying our world. Um, Instead of that money going to them so they could hide it overseas, go to Epstein's parties and, you know, have Epstein be their money guy. Like you keep the money locally, you know, like you keep the, like all the tax subsidies we give corporations. Instead, it should be going to creating worker-owned businesses that are more democratic, gives people more money, more free time. You don't have to worry about all those unions when it's worker owned, you know, because union is moot at that point. You know, it's just like, do we want to give the money to these assholes who are ripping us off, or do we want to keep it ourselves? We want to keep the benefits to ourselves, and yeah, I think we just once we change up our structures, the way our economy is structured, it'll be a lot more fair. You know, we can have actual peace instead of like peace through violence and extortion. We can have peace through justice and you know, a sound economy. You know, something that makes sense. We won't have the homelessness epidemic. People will be able to buy their house, like no qualms. We also got to get away from uh, uh, private banks, because I mean they get trillions of dollars in subsidies. You know, they're too big to fail, so the government will step in and give them trillions of dollars and billions of dollars and all this shit. But like if you look at a bank like in North Dakota, they got a public bank out there, and they didn't have the same issues we had in 2008. You know, like because they weren't predatory. You know, all the profits that they make at the end of the year, they give them to the community. So it's not like going to a CEO. It's like, okay, we got all this extra money for funding, you know, some community based thing. We're going to give it to you guys, and that's how we need to be right now. Because right now it's just like, how are people getting billions of dollars? It's like they're stealing it. they're like taking more money than they could ever spend from corporate subsidies, and yeah, and the people who actually make the money, who show up, the essential workers who are essential for those billions of dollars to be made, they get exploited. You know, if a billionaire doesn't show up, the company will go on. No one needs the fucking CEO. You know, the CEO just like, give me all the money, and then they create policies that rip us off. And then you got like, you know, like companies like BlackRock buying up these corporations, gutting them, stealing people's pensions. So you think you're gonna retire? They're like, psych, no, that money's ours. They need to go. It's like the biggest criminal racket in history, yet it's allowed to continue. And that's one of the reasons why I have like major issues with people like Bernie Sanders, because he ran on like exposing that, talking about it, thought he'd do something about it. Then he gives them power, and he just like he's hush hush. He's like, let's send $100 billion to the Nazis in the Ukraine. We got homelessness epidemic, people sleeping in streets and shit. But we don't have any money for y'all, no money for health care. We could have paid for that umpteen times over, but nah, the Nazis need it. And can't be surprised. Our government is infiltrated by Nazis on a high level. Operation Paperclip brought in some of the worst Nazis into our government, CIA. That's why we have two Bushes, because they're connected to the CIA. They got Bushes who were, before the CIA was formed, they were in the OSS, the predecessor to the CIA. And yeah, they're like some of the most deplorable people. They require you to be desperate, hard up as a motherfucker, struggling, working 3 jobs, still can't pay rent, and then they need more money than they could ever spend. So you're desperate enough to fuck them for the change they have in their couch. YouTube sucks, Nate. Yes, YouTube, just delete that shit. I only come on here to tell y'all I got a new video over at NatesVlogs.net. That's where the employee evaluations and the rewinds are. I mean, you can find like the big back catalog at odyssey.com/@NatesVlogs. But I'm also going through the process of just cutting the fat, getting rid of all the sponsorship, mumbledy-gook on those videos, and I upload them to rumble.com/NatesVlogs. So, and then I put it on, upload there to NatesVlogs.net. So you can follow me on Rumble to get it a little quicker. But, I say NatesVlogs.net is probably the most important one, because all of these sites could just wake up tomorrow and decide to just cut me off. Right now I'm dependent on a billionaire's kindness to allow me to post. I feel comfortable saying Rumble because, like, the first video I uploaded on Rumble, I deliberately sought out footage that was banned on YouTube, like banned to the point where I couldn't find it. And then I uploaded clips, and I just provided my opinion on it. And I just saw if they had like some auto bot to just get rid of it, because that's what YouTube does. But so far, nothing has been taken off of Rumble. I even had a few videos do well, like way better than I was expecting. But I really don't know what exactly drives it. I think it has something to do, hopefully it has something to do with my website, because I had like, some of the videos. I mean, I post all the stuff on my Rumble to my website, but yeah, it just, some of the stuff just does a lot better than the other. So, sometimes it'll be like a weekend, and it got like a video has like 3 views, and then overnight something happens, and then it's just like the views just shoot up. I don't know what contributes to that, but then again, it was like similar with YouTube when I was first starting. And then I just had a consistent amount of views. I can guarantee 10,000, tens of thousands of views within the first few hours. And then, some of them would just go into millions. Some of them would just stay there, and then they'll take off like different times. But, I'm just grateful when they start getting the eyeballs on them. The CIA can kiss my A word. Your Afghanistan war. Don't think the CIA liked what I'm about them because Instagram said to edit my comment. Yeah. Well, they do have a lot of control over all social media. That's one of the concerning things. That's why I shoot my lives on here. I mean, I was doing my live. I got like one live going over on my Facebook, But you know, I know if there's certain topics where I can't even mention it in a live show. Like it was, I had a strike for answering questions. You know, like I started a video talking about like something totally different. I started getting questions about something that is not allowed for me to talk about on YouTube, and they took down multiple lives on the channels that went down, as well as the remaining my tech channel. You know, I can't voice my opinions on a lot of stuff here. That's why it's just like when I start really getting into nitty gritty, you know, you guys start getting into questions about certain things. I'm just like I try to ignore it because yeah, I can lose my one remaining channel. And then the last video I tried to post, it was an actual, you know, it's my tech channel. I don't want to upload my rewinds or uh, employee evaluations on there. Really, I don't want shit posted on YouTube. But it does have an audience, so I posted like a tech like video, something that has to deal with tech, and me just you know the top 5 dangerous techs of 2022. If you haven't seen it, it's over at nateflix.net, rumble.com/nateflix. But yeah, one of the technologies I couldn't even I I couldn't even just discuss it without just getting a fucking strike. So yeah, just all of these sites I'm on garbage. I mean, I did get like I'm working on the IG and the Facebook, and they have like I guess technically it's kind of like the YouTube partnership. They're supposed to be paying me for money from Reels or whatever. Still haven't gotten a payment yet. It was supposed to be a certain amount of money for a certain amount of Reels that I do believe I posted, and yeah, I don't know how that goes. Like maybe I didn't fill out the tax information because I don't remember doing that. But anyway, so it's just like I do it. I use them to an extent, but usually it's just like clips of stuff that you can find at nateflix.net in full. So if you want to get down on my content, that's the place to visit. You know, rumble.com/nateflix, odyssey.com/@Nateflix. And I mean, it would be ideal if all these just go to shit. Because I'm old enough to remember the predecessors. MySpace was much better than Facebook. Shitting on Facebook, like leap years ahead of Facebook. Uh, but yet that somehow fell by the wayside when Facebook came, and that's because Facebook was getting all that money from government subsidies, right? So it's like MySpace couldn't keep up, and plus MySpace was like the wild wild west. You know, I learned first learned coding when I was doing MySpace, setting up my page and shit like that. A lot of that came into play when I started my new website. I mean, I had an old website that I let fall by the wayside because I thought YouTube uh, wouldn't go to shit. You know, their whole motto was "Don't be evil," but then they switched that up and became very evil. Um, but yeah, all of these companies that you know we can't get rid of, Facebook, YouTube, is because they have so much money that they just buy up the market share. And if like a real competitor comes around, they try to buy them up or they crush them. So like you know like last year, Parlor started becoming the most downloaded app on Google Play and the Apple App Store, right? And then there was a concerted effort, not just by the Googles and the Facebooks to shut them down, but it was also our politicians stepping in and silencing them too. So it's hard to get traction when you're being crushed so vehemently. Oh, you're my hero. I'm assuming that's CR. And Merry Christmas. Yeah. I know you're getting a fuckload of snow. We just got like a few inches out here, and it just went away. But it was like dangerous. Like you know, couldn't drive the car without ice sheets. We saw multiple people crashed in ditches. Uh, we you know we had our own difficulties getting around, but by the grace of God, no accidents. but we definitely saw a few of them. And I'm imagining it's worse in your area. Comments. Ooh, I'm missing comments on here. Baffles me the argument against employers paying employees more as prices when CEOs get paid millions and millions. Even when they get fired, they get paid. Yeah, they get fired for fucking up, destroying the company, and then they get like a golden parachute. And then like the number one thing they do when they get all these billions of dollars, it's all fake money. And then they artificially pump up their own stock price because they do stock buybacks, which used to be illegal. When you take money that you're from the profits of your company, you don't pay your workers, you don't pay new innovation, you just buy the stocks, raising your stock prices artificially, so the CEOs have more money, and then they act like, oh no, because their income is separate from their stock value. So like you'll think they only made like a few million, like $10 million a year, which is always already fucking ridiculous. But that's just their income, and then they also get when they do the stock buybacks, that translates to billions, and they usually work with other companies, insider trading. They go to Nancy Pelosi's house and they figure out which companies they should invest in, and then their stock portfolio, like a lot of people, they're seeing their 401ks crash. Right, they're already going down double digits this year, and they're expected to go even lower next year. And that's the money that people plan on retiring with, right? But those people, they don't have the insider information, so like they're going to suffer greatly. But like the people who run these companies, like they know everything because like it's a big club and you ain't in it, and they get all the info. They buy up all the politicians. They know where to invest, who to invest with, who to buy off, to avoid regulation. And it's just like, it's shameful. It shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't be able to make billions of dollars through welfare. There should be a $10 billion Amazon contract or a Google contract from our tax dollars. Because that's like, they're the biggest welfare queens. It's like pull yourself up by your bootstraps. A lot of people out there don't have money to buy boots, but like you get billions of dollars in subsidies. We definitely need to cut that shit. If your fortune depends on you milking the taxpayers of billions of dollars, we need hard limits. Not even $1 billion. Like you shouldn't exceed 10 million. I mean, because if you need more than $500,000 off your interest, you're a broken person. Because I can guarantee, like the workers at the bottom of the food chain at their companies don't make a fraction of that. So it's shameful. Hey, from Australia, welcome, Aussie. That's one of those countries I definitely wanted to visit. I wanted before my dad died. I was trying to save up to go out there, but it was like ridiculously expensive. Like any English speaking country is like expensive as a motherfucker. I know Australia is across the world, but it's like other similarly distanced countries where it's like much cheaper to travel. Australia was just expensive as a motherfucker, so we couldn't. And then watching all of the crazy shit y'all did during the pandemic, like the locking people up and all that shit for not getting certain shots. It was scary. And I'm grateful I didn't go. Even though I still want to see the wildlife. That's one thing, like I know a lot of that stuff out there can kill you, but I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't get to experience it firsthand. I want to ride in a kangaroo. You can call me Joey. I hate snow. I hate the cold. Well, they're always talking about a white Christmas. maybe it has something to do with racism or cocaine, but a lot of people assume it has something to do with the snow. So it's just like, it is a totally different experience. My family was in the LA area where they had like 80-degree Christmas. That's the first time I ever had a 80-degree Christmas was when I went to LA long time ago when I was still a kid. But yeah, yeah, it's an acquired taste. I mean, out here the cold weather shut down the whole city. I mean, you can go places and stuff like that, but it wasn't a good idea because it was videos of people just crashing. I mean, we saw people like spin out into ditches, but it was like people who were crashing into other cars and stuff like that. And I can't have that shit on my record. I can't be dealing with paying off someone else's um, fixing up their car. That shit is money consuming. NASA, yes. Yeah, MySpace was definitely better than Facebook. Us older millennials remember and had it better. Yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, definitely I learned a lot of to avoid a lot of the mistakes I see people making on Facebook. I learned to avoid those on MySpace because I used to. Oh man, that was they had the top eight where you can put your top eight people, and there was a lot of jealousy around that shit if you were dating someone. And then, man, because MySpace was also it was like the OK Cupid slash Tinder, before those existed. Because I used to meet uh, people who I ended up like dating or being romantic with through MySpace, which was a terrible idea. Because you'll see someone who's a friend of a friend who I don't know personally, and I meet up, and then if that shit went bad, which it usually did, I mean, it always did, because I don't really keep in contact with any of them. That would jeopardize certain friendships because you have like someone who could be just bad mouthing you to your friend who you know them through. It was just like I learned to keep my nose clean. I stopped using social media uh, for that kind of thing. Then it's just like I had like experience with like people who found me through YouTube, and it was a lot of it was flattering. Like someone who likes my content and they like what I was saying, but then like they'd be obsessive, like stalkery kind of stuff like that. So then I stopped fucking with anybody who really knew me like that. I wanted people to know me uh, who liked me for me, as opposed to they liked the videos that they saw, and a lot of time it wasn't even necessarily that they liked the videos. They saw the following, they saw me as having a certain amount of power or something, or they thought I had more money than I did, and then they would pretend to like me so they can get some status. So I just yeah I stopped doing anything like that. Like my girl right now had no knowledge of my online presence. I mean, a diminished online presence because this was after I lost my largest channel. I'd been like um, blacklisted by YouTube and all these motherfuckers. But it was like, uh, um, like we connected. It was outside of all that shit, and um, when I got older, it was when I got known for that, it was hard for people to not like me for it. Even if someone didn't know what the fuck I did, it was like someone I met on one of those dating sites. She found out I had a big following. I was like, she was surprised that I was able to make money, like, live comfortably off of my YouTube videos. This is like when I was uh, probably the apex of my finances through social media, which was like just shy of $8,000 a month, right? Which is, may not sound like a lot, but it was more than I needed. I was good. and she ended up like posting like just she didn't know shit about me. We didn't like have any big moment, but she was like desperate to win me over. She was like posting pictures of me on Facebook, and like with them, while we were still at a place, she was like tagging me in at the place. And this was like after I had like stalkers and stuff like that. And it's just like, yeah, I don't do any of that stuff. I wouldn't tag myself in a place, but you're tagging me, and that's opening me up for like other creeps who can come by and uh, uh, just do some creepy shit. And sure enough, I mean, well, that I'm not gonna blame her, but um, that house, the place I was living, when I met her, ended up becoming public knowledge. Like it was multiple people ended up knowing where I stayed, which was scary because I was getting like threats from somebody who I just wish I never met in person. But it was, it's like some chick came from New York, wanted to hang out, and I just obliged her because I was young and dumb. And she ended up getting that address, and she was like sending threats. She was like threatening my friends. She was like going to my friends' videos, leaving nasty stuff about me, and it was just yeah, no bueno. So yeah, I just had to make several major lifestyle choices just to maintain sanity online. I mean, it's so much to love. I like to get the best of you guys. Like the part of you guys that offers me something to think about, thought provoking stuff. But then it's like the a thirsty hype B side that just like it's just like a certain people with a different kind of mentality who they degrade the experience, but I don't let that be my full experience. So that's why I just cut certain stuff out, and yeah, just try to get the best of the best. With all your newfound consciousness and enlightenment, why did you choose to wear that hat? Because it's time to act, bruh. Because I'm through with speeches. And I always got to add my own little flair to it. This is where it's at. You're hilarious, dude. I miss your comedy videos. You know what? Got a lot of comical videos, new and old. NatesVlogs.net. So got the new employee evaluation coming. I got some old ones that I just uploaded, old rewinds. Um, cut the ads. So go check that out. Facts. I appreciate you bring me up to speed. Well, I appreciate that as well. Fucking companies didn't like what he was saying, even though a lot of his content was fair use. This was also around the time YouTube was shutting out all content but wasn't leftist political bullshit. That wasn't leftist political bullshit. See, and here's the thing. I think um, people's definition of left, I don't know if it aligns with mine. For me, uh, when someone says I'm leftist, I view that as anti-corporation. You can't be a leftist corporation because actual leftists will want corporations to be gone. Pro people, pro um fair wages, sustainable life and whatnot. But then, like, if your vision of left is the Democratic Party, well, that's the left wing of a dirty demon bird that I want no part of. I don't want the right wing. I don't want the left wing. just keep me away from all wings. And I seen that being distorted. Like people, it was like multiple content creators I've seen who was like, yeah, the left started being pro lockdown, pro mandate, pro this, pro that. I'm like, no, the left is pro freedom in my definition. My coming to understand the terminology is pro like let live and let live, respect a person's rights and all that shit. If you get away from that and you're pro lockup, pro all this stuff, you got away from the left. So if your definition of left means the Democratic Party, yes, like YouTube is pro left, but that's not left to me because the Democrat they're like fascists in the classical definition of it. Like when you talk about Mussolini, his definition of fascism was when corporations and governments work together, right? And it's no question in my mind that our government is working with corporations to steal your rights, steal your money, steal all the power that comes with that, and fuck over the vast majority of the world, poison our air, poison our water, poison our food supply. Yeah, so yeah, that's I would not consider YouTube as being pro left. They got the CIA in that motherfucker. CIA is controlling everything that gets posted. If you say something they don't like, they'll shut you down. That's pro fascism because CIA is the Nazi party. They brought in the Nazis with Operation Paperclip. So it's just like, yeah, that's nothing about that is left. But anywho, internet, I'm well over an hour and I still have not eaten. Just noshed on some snacks from yesterday's party, which we got to be put up. So I just want to touch bases with y'all, let y'all know about the new employee evaluation, the new rewinds at NatesVlogs.net, and the one that's coming, dealing with certain people who like being liked for all the wrong reasons because they're entitled little shitheads. So that's gonna be fun. And the video was recommended like a while ago. I didn't check where it was sent to me for a while. So if you know what I'm talking about, it'll be interesting. No one got the right answer, but yeah. Deuces to all my silly gooses, indeed. And peace to the silly geese. Deuces, silly gooses.